Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It is my hope and prayer that this video is actually going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I'm fine. Kisumu is also fantastic. Maybe you could let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country. There's one thing which I've constantly opined on this platform, that politics is a very interesting game and politics is also a very dirty game. A few days after William Ruto had been declared the president-elect by Wafula Chebukati, the Azimio team expressed their interest of challenging that decision at the Supreme Court. And Kenya Kwanza Brigades then responded that the Azimio team actually wanted to force Wafula Chebukati to declare Raila Odinga as the president of the Republic of Kenya, and that the people who wanted to do this were actually the National Security Advisory Council, and they ended up sharing a video. In that video which you are seeing on your screen, they mentioned a few guys in that particular video who they claimed went to Wafula Chebukati's office and told him that you either declare Raila Odinga as the president-elect of the Republic of Kenya. If not, then the other alternative is to go for a rerun. According to the video which was shared by Dennis Itumbi, the people who were there were actually Kennedy Kihara, who is the principal administrative secretary at the office of the president at that time. Then there was also Kennedy Ogeto, who is the Solicitor General. Then there was Police Inspector General of Police, Hilary Mutyambui, and there was also another gentleman there, Francis Ogolla, the Vice Chief of Defense Forces. And that's how Ogolla was dragged into politics. Remember, in this country, we have the National Security Advisory Council. According to our constitution, the National Security Advisory Council consists of the following. Let me just see if I can get the members there. It consists of several members. It consists of the president. He's supposed to be a member of the National Security Advisory Council. It consists of the deputy president, by that time William Ruto. It consists of the cabinet secretary responsible for defense. It consists of the cabinet secretary responsible for foreign affairs. It consists of the cabinet secretary responsible for internal security. And it also consists of the attorney general, who was represented in this by Kennedy Ogeto. It consists of the chief of Kenya Defense Force, who was represented here by Francis Ogolla, and also the Director General of the National Intelligence Service and the Inspector General of Police. That's according to the composition. And our National Security Advisory Council is actually one of the top security organs in this country. So Ogolla, as part of his mandate, went to the Bomas of Kenya, and that's where that particular video was actually captured. And of course, Wafula Chebukati being the chair of IBC at that time, they went and met him. But according to Wafula Chebukati and Kenya Kwanza, these guys went to force him to declare Raila Odinga, which they could not. But what next for Ogolla? Because William Ruto is not keen on this guy. What next for him? For us to understand who Ogolla is, let us go back to 2021, July. In July 2021, President Uhuru Kenyatta appointed Francis Ogolla as the Vice Chief of the Defense Forces, which makes him one of the top military guys in this country.
I, Lieutenant General Francis Ogolla, Vice Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, do swear in the name of the Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the Republic of Kenya, that I will obey, preserve, protect, defend this Constitution of Kenya and all other laws of the Republic, and that I will protect and uphold the sovereignty, integrity, and dignity of the people of Kenya, that I will diligently serve the people and the Republic of Kenya without any fear, favor, bias, affection, ill will, prejudice, or any political, religious, or other influence. In the exercise of the functions entrusted to me, I will at all times and to the best of my ability respect, uphold, preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution, the people and Republic of Kenya, and obey all laws, orders, regulations, and directions and instructions concerning the Kenya Defense Forces. So help me God.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Well done.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Well done. Well done. Well done.
Now that's Francis Ogolla taking oath of office. And when Uhuru did that, it placed Ogolla on the line to becoming the Chief of Defense Forces. Actually, the appointment of Ogolla made him the first senior Luo in a very long time to hold that position. And when Uhuru made that appointment, most people concluded that Uhuru did that because he was preparing for Raila Odinga's presidency. Because if you follow politics, before 2017 election, I think around 2014, there was Geoff Otieno, who was actually destined to become the Chief of the Defense Forces. Then Uhuru Kenyatta decided to retire him because if he had not been retired, then he was going to be the next Chief of Defense. So he was retired and he was posted to Egypt as an ambassador. So when Uhuru Kenyatta then in 2021, July, appointed Francis Ogolla, it was clear that Ogolla was going to head the military and head the entire defense forces. But something happened in August, and from what I'm seeing, and having listened very closely to message from Oscar Sudi, which I wanted to listen to very briefly, I think that might not happen.
Jeremia Kioni, leo nataka ni kuongeleshe na mtu anaitwa Ogolla. Watu walikuwa wanataka kutuletea hasara katika taifa letu la Kenya. Jeremia Kioni, kama hauna watoto wanaweza kusaidia kiakili, ama kama hauna wajomba ama marafiki wa karibu, wacha mimi nikusaidie. Wacha kusema sijui William Ruto alipata hii, Raila Odinga alipata hii, sijui nani alipata gani. You are not IBC. Wewe sio team ya IBC, wewe sio anything. Wewe ulikuwa unasimama mjumbe kama mimi. Ujiulize kwanza ulishindwa vipi? Na kama hujui ulishindwa vipi, tell your family to please wakusaidie kiakili. Acha kuhangaika sijui president sijui hiyo ni maneno mengine mbali na maneno ilikwisha. Number 2. Mtu anaitwa Ogolla. Nashangaa vile tunaheshimu jeshi yetu. Wanakuanga na heshima kubwa sana Kenya na discipline. Hawapendangi indiscipline katika jeshi. Sijui mbona Ogolla baada ya kazi mpaka leo. Na tuko na watu wengi tutasema kila siku. Hata kuna huyo mwingine wa AP alikuwa anajifanya yeye ndiye anasimamia hapo maneno ya usalama hapo Bomas. Na ndiye alikuwa kateli mkubwa, mkora mkubwa, alikuwa anataka kuleta kumwaga damu hii Kenya. Tutawaambia every day. Lakini kitu tunataka tuambie wa Kenya, msikubali na hatutawahi mwaga damu kwa sababu ya hao wajinga. Ukishindwa kura kwenda nyumbani. Wacha kwenda kuungana pale kusema unajua tukifanya hivi itafanyika hivi, tukipanga hii itafanyika ile. Mungu ni mzuri sana. 2007 2008 tuliona maneno ya haifai. Juzi walikuwa wamepanga sana. Sijawahi kuona kwanza president mwenye amekuwa current president alafu akaenda opposition. Hii ni maajabu. But anyway, Ogolla na Kioni, hii Kenya ni ya Wakenya milioni 50. Wacha kuhangaika, relax, mwende nyumbani. Na nyinyi jeshi mtuambie, wenye wanasimamia jeshi, huyo Ogolla baada ya kazi kwa nini? Yaani alitembea na mguu yake mwenyewe akaenda Bomas. Akaenda akaongea aliongea. Akajaribu kufanya alikuwa anajaribu kufanya. lakini Mungu anapenda Kenya sana, that's why alikataa na akasema lazima tutoe wa Kenya kwa minyororo ya wakora. Let me ask you Kenyans, kama Raila Odinga angechukua, it's not about Raila Odinga, hii nchi ingekuwa wapi? Uchumi ingekuwa wapi? Kama saa hii tuna struggle na walikuwa wamepora kila kitu, walikuwa wanang'ang'ana na kuita watu wa hizi.
But what next for Ogolla? If you follow the Tonje rule, which applies in the military, it is simple that the chief of defense force is actually rotational. You know, we have the army, we have the air force, and the navy. Kibochi, who is currently the chief of defense force, is actually from the Kenya army. The guy he took over from, Samson Mwadhadhe, who is a very close friend of Uhuru Kenyatta, came from the navy. Which means the next chief of defense force must come from the air force. At the air force, there are only two senior individuals. That is Major Mbadi and Francis Ogolla. And Francis Ogolla is actually more decorated, which means he's the next in line. And this is something which William Ruto is not willing to accept. And remember, our military is known in the world as one of the most professional military units, especially in Africa. And they always stick by those rules. So let us wait and see what Ruto will do. Of course, I tend to think that maybe he will extend the time of Kibochi, and by doing that, definitely it will mean that Ogolla can be retired. Because Ogolla, in my view right now, he has only three options. The first option is to accept retirement. But why should he retire? It will mean he's guilty. And as a military guy, I don't think he will be able to do that. The other option is to stick in the military and wait for his time to come. So if he will be appointed as the chief of the defense forces, it will be good for him. Or if he will not be chosen, maybe Mbadi is chosen, then again, he will be happy for Mbadi. But the other one would be to to resign. Why should he resign? If he resigns, then it means he's guilty. And you know the implication that will have on his career, what that would have on even facing the possibility of facing court after retirement, that he attempted to subvert the will of the people, which is serious. So he has to stick. Let us wait and see what's going to happen. But I tend to think that William Ruto must let the military, our military, do their job. I don't think that the military was involved in any attempt to subvert the will of the people. Because even if Raila Odinga was to be declared the president, these guys would still have just gone there. Even if it was Ruto, they would have still gone there. Even in the next election, if you go back, every election period, these guys are always at Bomas of Kenya. And if there were several like this, why only pick on Ogolla? Is it because Ogolla is a Luo? The issues of military is something which I really don't like venturing in, but I decided to do this video because of the video which was done by none other than Oscar Sudi, and the fact that this gentleman was mentioned at the Muchelule tribunal by Wafula Chebukati, Boya Mulu, and I think Guli also mentioned him. I don't know what to think. That's my take. And until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.